things that are out there. This is a Technora anchor sling, very lightweight. Basically, this. Remember this one? I know it's more than 5,000. Yeah, 5,000 pounds Technora, double Technora, so it's heat resistant and very comfortable. You will probably cut the steel before you cut this thing. So, very, very cool. The new Texora slings, ridiculously strong. They basically took the engineering from the endless slings out of rigging. This is 49 kN, 49 kilonewtons, so stronger than anything that you've got on your body. Ridiculous. Cut resistant. I've said it to every group. I'm not here to sell you shit. I'm just here to tell you there's some really lightweight stuff out there. If I'm in the class, I'm going to find at least that. These are the new Texora slings as well. Again, this is like, it's kind of ridiculous. This is 100 kN. So if you want to pull your truck out of the hole, you could use this. You'll probably rip your trailer apart because you rip this. Really kind of incredible stuff out there. A little bit heavier than we want, but you can feel this thing is ounces compared to an anchor strap, right? We all have those anchor straps. Imagine climbing 100 foot with 2 anchor straps versus 2 of these. Right? There's sewn loop, which is another nice thing. We don't have knots where somebody can't verify.
You guys want water for the ride over or whatever? There's water there.
And because it's 49 kN, the old days of you can't grip it soft, right? So even if we were to derate this by half, right? That's the old adage. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but that's the old adage. This is still 25 kN, which is stronger than most of the shit I've bought. So just some thoughts. I've been pushing now even lighter and smaller weight stuff. Okay, so the clutches are awesome. They're great. They're the newfangled thing. This shit's been out for a while. This is a Gree Plus, which is really cool because it acts like the ID. It's a camming device, but it cams out just like the ID or the clutch, right? If that emergency, oh my God, I went too fast, it clutches out. And this is pretty remarkable. It goes from 9.5 to 11 mil. So we're doing 9.5 mil. HCP with 9.5 inch canyon locks, and we've got an ultra lightweight main and blade tension 6,000 pounds. So ridiculously strong. So I'm just saying that we just got to remember there's other stuff out there. We're talking towers, right? So we got to talk some tower safety. Again, there should be a whole class on this. We're gonna down and dirty.
Don't worry, you are going to have it next year.
Yeah, oh yeah. You just hold your breath. This is again. I'm not selling this stuff, but this is probably one of the best units that you can get. It does your E and H fields. I'm not going to get into it. There's 2 different wavelengths that we have to worry about. Blah, 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 blah. This does it really, really well. You turn it on. It goes through the safety test, and then the power button will blink if the power is on. There it goes. And it'll audible, right? If you're starting to get into a zone, and then it'll tell you what you got to be careful of. It also is drop. It'll alarm if you drop it. If it's down, it actually will alarm. So if you're with somebody and it goes off, you take a look and go, oh wow, somebody fell. Just a quick overview of towers, right? Way up top are the drum-like things, right? Way up top are the round drums with the microwave. Incredibly focused, okay? And they really will microwave your body, especially like eye sockets, your joint, your hip joint, your ball joint, your family jewels downtown. It will move. There's a reason why they're stood off, so the technicians can go behind, above and below them and stuff like that. The cellular stuff is that kind of they're kind of U-shaped, more tall, thin, right? We know what 4G, 5G cell towers look like. The 5G stuff is now being put below the 4G. They're not even disconnecting the 4G stuff. They're just leaving it up there. So that's going to be a problem for us, right? Eventually, we're going to have more and more stuff up on towers. A lot of rooftops are being used now for RF stuff. So if you're going up on a roof and you're going to say, hey, we're going to go training here for a while, find out what you're close to. Hey, we're going to anchor against this thing. Meanwhile, you're right behind a cell service. So maybe an RF meter would be a good thing to do. Right? There's all sorts of other stuff up there, but AR, there's FM, there's pagers. I don't know if there's any cell up there or not, but the microwave is the one that you gotta be really careful. Talking towers, there should be a sign on the tower or on the booth that'll tell you who owns the tower, who runs the tower, who you need to contact if you're going to go in there. A lot of times they will tell you that you can actually lower down some of the things that are on it if you got to go up there, or how to turn it off completely. But there's usually phone numbers associated with it, so you know who you got to call to assess it. I would not just randomly, even though with somebody up stuck there, I would at least try to make some phone calls and find out what you're dealing with. Okay? Cool? All right. So we'll go in there. We'll talk real quick on what we're gonna do. Again, this is your stuff. You're gonna do whatever you guys want to do. We've got tons of toys. Some of this stuff might be a review to you guys. Some of it may be the first time you ever got it. This is not a tower class. It's just exposing you to it. So we'll go through some stuff. First things first, I'm going to look at the tower. Grounding, right? Gotta be grounded before I climb. It's something often overlooked. A lot of times you'll see the grounding is copper, and what is copper, right? They'll steel, right? They won't mess with that stuff usually because they just don't know. But the 6-foot grounding rod, right? That's pure copper, and then the copper associated. If we got somebody who's up there who's electrocuted, stuff like that, I probably would hesitate grabbing onto this unless I double check them. Cool. A lot of towers now have this 3/8-inch steel cable for ascending and descending up and down. This particular unit is called a lad safe, and this will allow us to climb up and down. So there's a lot of DBI Sala. There's a couple different. This is lad safe, DBI Sala. There's a whole bunch of different kinds, but it's a 3/8-inch one-way device. It'll tell you right on it. And then what you got to do is just open this cam all the way up, hook it up, close it, and then anytime I hook up a safety, right, you're going to make sure that it works. This is designed to go to your sternal without any tether. Okay, so a carabiner straight to this. It is rated for that connection only. It is not rated for you to climb above it and then potentially fall, right? That's not what it's made for. So when you're climbing, you just take a rated carabiner. Right, and now I'm ready to climb, and I go ahead and climb, and it travels with me. And when I come down, if I come down at a good clip, it will travel down with you. If I take that one extra step too far or too quickly, right, you're locked up. The only way to unlock it is to unweight it. And then if I come down slowly, it comes down slowly. Cool? So that's your connection point. You can ride this thing the whole way up. There is a rubber grommet that holds the wire from ding, 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 right, all day long. So when you get up to that U shape, you pull the cord out, right? You climb above it, and then you jam it back in. So that way this thing isn't whipping around all day. You can imagine how much force that the wind will take on that. That's how you get past that one for this side. Questions on the lad six? So let's talk about lead climbing. So for instance, the other legs don't have a lad safe on or a cable on it. So there's climbing and then there's position, right? There's two different things. So as we climb, we use our Y lanyards. They go to our sternal or our dorsal, depending on the manufacturer. In here are all the rules, right? How far you can go up and down. Also known as click clacks or bypass, right? There's all sorts of stuff. But the idea here is, right, as I climb, I'm going to be using these as basically my belay, so to speak. Right, this is my fall arrest as I go. And something to be pretty mindful of is I don't want to take that fall. So I want to make sure that when I'm doing this, right, I can be out here, you can be in here, right? I don't want to climb so far above my lanyards as if I'm going to introduce myself to a huge fall. You can imagine the fall that I'm going to take here. Okay, so it's much better to keep these things, you know, kind of at your chest. There's lots of different rules and all that stuff, but this isn't a lead climbing class. This is let's get the job done today. So I hope you can appreciate that. So I only do one at a time. Okay, I've seen people want to do this kind of stuff, right? Shake your head. Well, people do it, right? So just do one at a time. So make sure that you, right? The other thing is, once I'm up where I want to be, I want to make sure that I put these high if I'm working here. Just like your ASAP, just like your belay, you want it to be kind of tall. You don't want to have this big bell here. Cool? The other thing I don't want to do, I tend to do is, I'm just going to use one and then I'll attach it to a hard attachment point on mine, right? There is a potential that if I am short here or something, there's a potential that I'm going to actually hit this rather than this. This is what we want. This is that blowout patch that'll keep us from, hopefully, from really wrenching our back and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure you're not splitting it. Make sure you're not leaving this here. Believe it or not, we all have these. Pencil's got them, Cam's got them. They all got these nice little places that are meant to bust open, right? You got those little clips there. All of the more advanced harnesses now have it, so that it's not a hard clip to you, right? It's meant to blow out. Cool? So, when I get to where I want to get to, my safety up. So, that's our safety. Now, I've got hands and feet. I want to work hands free, so I have to talk about positioning lanyard. This is a Creon. There's lots of different kinds. Take out my positioning lanyard. Come through however I want to come through. All sorts of different ways of doing it. These are meant to, if you work in tandem, right? My hips are bending, or I can run it straight off my D-ring here. Either way. Okay? So that's a positioning lanyard. Now I can go hands-free. We've seen a lot of people using a positioning lanyard and they're still doing this, or they're still doing this, right? And trying to work. You got to trust your equipment. This is a living classroom, so when you get up there, if you want to take a minute and just mess around, and right? Cool. So that is positioning lanyard. That is your safety, and then your lad safe for your safety on the cable. Questions, comments, concerns?
We know a couple of you guys have done some of this before. That's fine. A couple of you haven't done any of this before. That's fine too. That's why you're here to learn. We're going to have two different systems. One is this individual we're going to lower directly down to the ground. And one rescuer is going to go up and do all the work. So you need a technically advanced person, well trained, to go up and do it. They've got to raise them up off the fall protection and then lower them down. On this side here, we don't want to lower them down. We're in the middle of a construction site. There's rebar everywhere. There's wet concrete, and we don't want to drop them here. We want to put them out on the other side of the fence. So just lowering them down isn't going to do it. So we're going to do a skate block on this side. There, you can have one person climb up and just rig the basics, and the team will take care of the rest. So it's a little bit of both. You guys can bounce around from either side, do what you want to do. On the back side here, we just have a system set up, so if you haven't climbed before and you'd like to, you want to get some practice, and climb. You don't got to do anything. Just climb and get some practice. Okay? This is for you. You do as much or as little as you want. Let's have fun. Yeah? Excellent. All right, I need one of you guys to climb up there right now and be my victim.